Hey guys, welcome to Screenshots Casual Talk. Today I'm going to talk about A Million Ways to Die in the West. Now, this is going to be a spoiler-free review because basically there's not much to talk about in terms of spoilers. The jokes are really funny. I'm not going to talk about each joke, I'm just going to talk about the delivery of them, so I don't need to spoil the film for you guys. Basically, Seth MacFarlane's character is kind of a coward. He has this duel in the beginning of the film with this guy, and he knows that he's going to lose, so he tries to back off. And his girlfriend, Amanda Seyfried, doesn't like that. He thinks he's not much of a man, and because of that, she breaks up with him, and he doesn't realize that she's really shallow because he's so much in love with her, and he just wants to make her happy. And then when Charlize Theron's character comes into play, she's this awesome woman that wants Seth MacFarlane to understand that he's an awesome guy. Instantly you realize what the movie is going to be, and that's cool. I think like Charlize Theron's character was very interesting. She's more of like this kind of cool cowgirl trying to show what Seth MacFarlane has to do and has to be. I like that part of the story, but it was just a bit predictable. And then you have Liam Neeson in the film. He's very cool. He's a very cool villain. I really like that. He's such a good actor, you know. You can really tell that he wants to get things done, so that was cool. Neil Patrick Harris's character is also very funny. I think Neil Patrick Harris is one of the most funny and comical characters of our generation. You can see that a bit in How I Met Your Mother. You can also see that in the Harlan Kumar films. It's cool what he's doing. So you have all this really cool cast. You also have Giovanni Ribisi and Sarah Silverman, and it's really funny, the interaction between both of them, because I'm not going to spoil it for you, but basically like the whole situation is really funny, and you just love the characters because of their awkwardness, especially Giovanni Ribisi's character, but also Sarah Silverman, because she has this thing in her mind like this cannot be done, but then she does exactly that, you know, with other people. It's cool that they approach that because it's really funny. And the thing I like most about Seth MacFarlane in what he does, he's really able to give comedic timing to jokes. He knows exactly how to give them, how to portray them, how to edit them. You know, it's really funny, like the way that he constructs every joke. I really like that, especially the beginning where he talks a lot about the things that are weird in the West and that can kill you. That was so funny, even though he sometimes forces a little bit with jokes. I get that, but he manages to pull it off because he knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what's wrong with the time. He knows exactly what the bad things that happen in the West, that you can die of many things, and he's very comical of that situation, because it's kind of like you are in the West and seeing this is weird, and everybody else is like, for me it's normal, and that's kind of cool. I like that idea. The thing is about this film is that jokes are funny, but 90% of them are in trailers, which is a shame. And it's not Seth MacFarlane's fault, because it's always the same company that does trailers. Every trailer that you see in a film is basically done by one company, maybe two, but I'm guessing one, and that's why every trailer has the same language. With action films, they actually don't show a lot of the story, they don't show a lot of the characters, but it's just the way that it's edited. It makes you think that, oh, it's going to be so awesome, and it's just, no, you have all these black frames going on, you have all these action boom, and immediately you're like, oh, I'm hooked in the film, but you're not hooked in the film, you're just hooked in the black frames and the sound going boom, and that's why you're interested in the film. But comedy films, it's kind of like the opposite. They show way too much, they show way too many jokes. 90% of the awesome jokes of the film are in the trailer, and that's kind of a shame. And that's not Seth MacFarlane's fault, because he has no voice in the trailers. Like The Amazing Spider-Man 2, same thing. It wasn't Mark Webb's fault, and all the other trailers are like that. You know, sometimes trailers show a bit too much, sometimes they don't show any. It's just really annoying that trailers do this, because it does take you out of the film when you've seen those jokes. But I'm the sort of guy that sees the same joke time and time again and laughs the same way. I even laughed more in the cinema because I was with a huge group of people watching the film, and they all were laughing, so I laughed even more, and that was fun. I like that. I'm one of those people that does that. But I get that many people who have seen the trailers or going to the films like, I've seen this joke, I've seen that joke, I've seen the blah blah blah. It kind of annoys me, because you have like a really cool trailer for Psycho when Alfred Hitchcock did the film, and he's basically showing the scenes and the sets, and he's just saying, oh, this is what happens here. Is it or isn't it? You know, it's really cool because that's like showing the film without showing it, and that makes me want to watch the film a lot more than all these black frames and booms, or the comedy trailers that just show every joke to make you laugh and go and watch the movie. So it is annoying that trailers do this, but still, it was enjoyable. I really like the jokes. I think Seth MacFarlane is good at what he does. He knows how to deliver jokes, and he knows how to deliver the timing of them, and that's really cool, because many of the jokes are fart jokes and dick jokes, but it just makes me laugh because he knows how to do them, you know. And it's, people say, oh, he just does fart jokes, oh, he just does dick jokes, oh, he just does this, and he's awful. And that kind of annoys me, because when you're in comedy, you're supposed to raise the bar and do stuff that people are a bit uncomfortable with, because it's the uncomfortable that makes it more funny. And if you do it well, like Seth MacFarlane does, like Louis C.K. does, like Ricky Gervais does, you know, they're very good at what they do. And Seth MacFarlane shows that in this film. I did like the story. It's trying to capture this essence that movies nowadays don't really have, especially films from the 80s. You know, when you have like films like E.T. and you have films like Back to the Future and you have films like The Breakfast Club and all those sort of films where they're really trying to give like an essence to a film and really try to teach you some moral values, even if it is really cheesy, because the 80s are probably the most cheesiest decade of all time. The fact that Seth MacFarlane brings a lot of those morals and cheesiness into his films, I like that, because yes, it's cliche, yes, it's predictable, yes, it's been done a million times, but at least knows how to do it well. And I like that. You realize that the dialogue didn't have that much creativity in it, but you understand exactly why he wrote that scene and why that scene is happening. And because the actors do act well between each other, you feel it, you feel the essence there. And the music is really well done too, so like you have complete silence, and when Seth MacFarlane gets a little bit more emotional, the music comes in and just gives that little extra nudge that you need to really feel what he's feeling. Not too much, just a little bit. And I really like that, because that's kind of like how films did in the old days, the 80s and before. And the fact that this is a western, it's done nowadays, you're always thinking, oh, how is it going to be done? And he uses many of the shots that John Ford used in his westerns. He brings a little bit sometimes like plots from other western films, like there is one time where he explains something that happened. If you've seen Once Upon a Time in the West, you might be thinking, oh, is he saying that because of Once Upon a Time in the West, or is it because it's kind of like this thing that happens in many western films? So you're kind of unsure, but you know that it's a reference to westerns. You know when he's saying that it's a reference to a lot of westerns, and I like that. That was cool. And also the way the camera moves, the fact that the camera goes from like ground shot and goes above the name of the fair or the city and goes way up and sees the whole crowd. That was really cool, because John Ford used that a lot in his films. Then Sergio Leone used that a lot in his films. And then even Back to the Future Part 3 used that to really give that sense of western, that old style film that I really adore and really like, because it is really difficult to kind of move away from what is done nowadays and go back to the old days and see how they made films and use that kind of language, because nowadays it's very much shaky cam, or they cut a lot between shots and they don't use wide shots that much. And I like the fact that he did that in this film. He used more wide shots. You do have a lot of close-ups, of course, but he does use a lot more wide shots, more exposition shots, and really cool shots, especially at the beginning of the film with the opening credits, and you see Monument Valley, again a place where westerns were filmed a lot thanks to John Ford. It's just so interesting to see a film done like this. It's a comedy film. It's Seth MacFarlane doing fart jokes and dick jokes and I don't know how many jokes, but at the same time you have this old style filmmaking that you used to have in westerns, you know. And it's funny because Quentin Tarantino did that with Django Unchained, but in a way that was more Sergio Leone rather than John Ford, and in this case it was more John Ford than it was Sergio Leone. So I like that. It was cool. I really liked that part of the film. It really made me really invest a lot in terms of filmmaking. The fact that it brings a lot of essence of films from the 80s, and there's like this really cool cameo that, if you don't know, is fucking awesome. It was amazing to watch that scene. Unfortunately, I read this little thing on the internet and it's like, fuck, why did I have to see that? Like, I didn't want to know that, so I didn't even press link because I didn't want to know anything else. But then I realized when it was going to show up, and it showed up, and I just got all... When you see the scene, you'll know what I'm talking about, because you just get all really jittered, and you really get... You giggle a little bit, you get, oh, fucking cool, that's amazing! And you really get why Seth MacFarlane makes these films, because he really wants to do his type of comedy, but bring the essence of films from the 80s, and the style of westerns, and it was really cool. He did a really good job. I really liked it. It's a shame that the story is predictable. It is a shame that most of the jokes are in the trailer, but again, that's not Seth MacFarlane's fault. Really cool cast, really enjoyable, really loved it, just having a blast. But I do want to see him risk more. I want to see him do a little bit more of a, you know, just risk a little bit more in terms of narrative. You know, it's predictable and it shouldn't be. He should give a little bit more, like you have in The Breakfast Club, you know, or give a little bit more that you have in films like Close Encounters of the Third Kind or E.T., or even films, you know, before that, you know, just little dark stuff, you know, like even The Lion King, which is a film from the 90s, and it's such a great film. You have that scene with Simba and Mufasa, which is so intense, and you can have that in these films. It was a little bit of a scar in my head when I watched that when I was a kid, but it didn't hurt me. I loved it. I loved the film. It made me even want to see Simba become even better and overcome Scar, you know, that really made me. And in this film, it lacks a little bit of that. These films of Ted and A Million Ways to Die in the West, it really needs that little extra something in the script to make you fall even more in love with the characters. But it is well done. Charlize Theron does a great job. Seth MacFarlane also does a great job. Actors were really good. It was really funny. It was just an overall enjoyable film. So if I had to give a rating, I would give it 3 out of 5 stars. So these were my opinions. I hope you enjoyed them. Don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't seen the film, do watch it, because it is really good film. And I know I said do again, but fuck it. And I look forward to reading your comments below. And please do comment, because I am really interested in hearing what you have to say. Because this show is about me voicing my opinions and you guys listening to what I have to say. So please do comment. I'm really interested in what you have to say. If you want to check my other reviews, you have them right here. You got 3 of them right here. You got others in my channel, so go check them out. Go check out my Facebook page, which is Screenshots Reviews. Go check out my Twitter, which is ScreenshotsRev, and check out my blog, which is screenshotsreviews.blogspot.com. So check them all out. You know, I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys in the future. And remember, these are my personal opinions.